Welcome to Burlington's Candidate Forum. My name is Alan Foles, and I'll be moderating the discussion. I'm joined by a press panel to ask the questions. On my far right is Christine Herter-Warren, the editor of the Burlington Union, and next to her is Rich Hosford, B News Director here at BCAP. At this session, we focus on the race for moderator. It's a one-year term, and we have two candidates. On my near left is the challenger, Terry Tarpey Clement. Ms. Clement was born and raised in Burlington. She's worked for the town treasurer collector's office for 17 years and has been a town meeting member for over 9 years, since 1998. She's also co-chair and treasurer of the 4th of July Parade Committee for the past 3 years. Next to her is the incumbent, Sally Willard. She's been a town meeting member for 17 years, during which time she served on the capital budget and land use committees and served as chair of each. She moderated many BCAT debates before running for her current position. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Let me go over the ground rules. Here's how we'll proceed. Each candidate will start by offering a 1-minute opening statement. After that, our press panel will ask questions of the candidates. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer. We'll alternate between members of the press panel as well as the candidates for first response. If the questioner has a follow-up, we'll allow that too, of course. Next, each candidate will then be allowed to ask one question of the other candidate, again with 90 seconds to respond. Finally, each candidate will get a 2-minute closing statement. In the interest of covering as many subjects as possible, we'll try to keep a close watch on the time, so frame your responses accordingly. I'll give you a wave when you've got about 15 seconds left. If everyone's all set, we'll get started. Our first opening statement, Ms. Willard.
Thank you, Alan. I'm a candidate for re-election as Burlington's town moderator because I want to continue to improve town meetings' strong legislative role. I moderated 4 town meetings during my first year, including a special town meeting. I did so fairly and impartially and with respect for all speakers. I reactivated town meeting committees that had been inactive for many years. The bylaw review committee's new members presented and town meeting approved nearly 20 updates to the bylaw, some of them more than 30 years old. I initiated comprehensive town meeting information sessions to help town meeting members be better prepared to discuss the issues. My re-election bid is supported by more than 75 current town meeting members and more than a dozen elected officials. My steady, calm, and respectful disposition fosters mutual respect and contributes to a healthy debate.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Clement.
Hi, my name's Terry Tarpey Clement. I was born and raised in Burlington. I've worked here in the town for over 18 years. As Alan said, I've been a town meeting member since 1998, on and off for about 9 years. I really believe that in order to get anything done, you need to get involved. And that's why I've tried to join the race for moderator in order to make sure the town meeting does abide by the rules and the regulations that we've developed and implemented, and to make sure that they continuously are applied.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we move on to questions from the press. Again, I'll remind you, you have 90 seconds for each answer. And we'll begin with Rich Hosford.
Hi, thank you. Whether it be in experience, knowledge, or just overall temperament, what do you think that you would bring to the position of town moderator that maybe your opponent would not?
We'll begin with Terry on this one.
Okay. I would bring. I understand my opponent's position on, having everybody speak and be able to be on the floor and to be able to be heard. But as moderator, your guidelines are the rules, Robert's Rules of Order and the bylaws of the town. And in abiding by those rules, that keeps the meeting going and flowing. And I think that I would be able to apply those rules more so than they have been in the past.
Okay, thank you. Sally.
Thank you. I bring to town meeting a history of conducting meetings through my chairmanship of the capital budget and the land use committees. I have experience now, 1 year of experience as the town moderator. There have been some bumps, but I have brought to that a calm disposition and a willingness to be very impartial and to not take a stand on any of the issues before town meeting. Town meeting's voice is really the voice of the people. They are your legislators, and it's important that if they speak, or if they want to speak, that they have an opportunity, provided that debate has not been cut off.
Thank you very much. Our next question will come from Christine Herter-Warren, and we'll begin with Sally.
Thank you. What is the role of town moderator, and what is its impact on the community?
Sally?
Thank you. The role of the moderator is to conduct town meeting and to make appointments to town meeting committees. These are the Finance Committee, the Ways and Means Committee, the Capital Budget Committee, the Bylaw Review, and the Land Use Committee, both of which deal with bylaws that govern the town. The moderator can have a great impact on the discussion at town meeting, not only through who is chosen to speak and when they're chosen to speak, but also by appointments. And to have a wide range of town meeting members on committees, I think is important. I think it's important that we have a committee members that really make up that represent the town, and that's what I've tried to do in the few appointments that I've had.
Thank you. Terry?
The moderator impacts the town by the moderator impartially has to impact, town meeting. And by doing that, they do it by following the rules and regulations of the town. As Sally said, the different appointments that you make to the various committees have a huge impact. Working for the town, I see what the town meeting votes do constantly and how it impacts the town. Ways and Means is a huge committee, and their vote is what town meeting votes on, basically how they voted on a certain article. And you really need to have a variation of people, have to be educated, they have to be knowledgeable in the town government, and you need to know the people that are town meeting members.
Okay, thank you. Now, next question, we go back to Rich Hosford, and it will be first directed at Ms. Clement.
Great. So clearly, obviously, the town meeting moderator has to have a really good grasp of the rules and procedures of the meeting. How important do you think it is for the moderator to also have a deep understanding of the actual subject of the warrant articles, and how would you go about keeping yourself or making yourself informed?
It's extremely important. You need to know all the articles ahead of time. You need to study them. You need to know what impact they might have on the town meeting members, how they're going to react to the various warrant articles. If it's going to be a controversial article, you need to maybe get with council or the selectmen to see how you can head off any controversy that might come about during a certain article. And you need to know the different rules and how they apply to the articles.
Thank you. Same question, Ms. Willett.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Beyond just knowing the procedures of the meeting and how to keeping order and how to to do the actual vote counts and all that, how important do you think it is for the moderator to have an understanding of the subject of the warrant matter, of the warrant articles, and how would you go about keeping yourself informed?
I think it's very important for the moderator to know what's on the warrant, to be familiar with the articles, whether they're financial or bylaw related, or whether they're related to land use issues. And I think the best way to do that is to, one, watch different meetings for financial articles, to pay attention to the selectmen's meetings, the school committee to an extent, but most importantly, to pay attention to what's going on at the Ways and Means Committee, where all of the budgets are discussed. I do that. I watch the Ways and Means Committee, occasionally the school committee, but frequently the Board of Selectmen meeting. And also having discussions with the town administrator and Ways and Means chair before the town meeting, you get a real feel for what might be controversial if you haven't already determined that. But also, we get some backup along with the warrant, and so it's important to review that just for those items that may not be controversial.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, we go back to Ms. Warren.
Okay. As a former town meeting member, I never really had a handle on Robert's Rules of Order, even when I had a little pamphlet with me and I would try to keep up or understand. I was wondering if both of you would just give us a quick primer on how Robert's Rules of Order works.
Okay, we'll start with Sally.
Robert's Rules of Order date back to sometime in the 18th century, I believe. They have been in use for a long time. They provide the structure for conducting a meeting, whether it's town meeting or any meeting that you're attending. They provide a structure. There are rules about how you make a motion, how you react to various things, how you move the question, how you make a point of order or ask for a point of clarification of information. And it's important that we, as moderator, have a good understanding of it and also are able able and willing to ask for counsel when counsel is needed, because there's a lot to it and we may not always remember absolutely every point.
Thank you. Terry, same question.
Okay, well, Robert's Rules it's a manual, basically. These are the laws, these are the rules, and these are the guidelines that have been instilled in government forever, okay, from way back in the 1500s. And you need to have a total grasp of how it all came about, not just why they're applied. You need to know how they came about, and that way it helps you to understand when they should be applied. They're very specific, and as far as for the moderator's point with the Robert's Rules of Order, it's very specific as to what you do. The laws are laid out, and you just follow them. It's almost like you're an umpire at a baseball game, and you're just calling the game, making sure that everybody stays in control. You're there to preside and preserve the laws, not the people, but the laws of Robert's Rules.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're back to Rich. Ask the next question.
All right. Now, as both of you know, sometimes the arguments on the floor of town meeting, a lot of people want to bring in a lot of points to sort of get their side across. Sometimes they stray kind of to the edge of maybe where it's no longer relevant, but it's part of their persuasive argument. Where would you be on finding that balance between keeping the focus, but also allowing people to sort of bring in what they consider the evidence that backs them up?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Clement.
Well, as long as they're staying on topic, because we're not there to talk about what happened last week at the Selectmen's meeting, or they're not there to talk about what happened at a Ways and Means meeting. We have an article, okay? And as a moderator, that's what you're to do. You're to make sure they stay on topic with the article. If they're talking about the article and how it came about, that's fine, because they're still on topic. But if they're straying off about, well, they shouldn't have voted on this because of this, and that's why we got here, that's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the article. You have to just very nicely, impartially, completely impartially, just tell them, please, this is the topic, Do you have anything else to add towards the article or the warrant? And you have to be the one to make them stay on topic. Because I know as a town meeting member, nobody wants to sit there and listen to people just talk to hear themselves talk. Most town meeting members, I'd say pretty much all of them, read their articles. They study them, and what they have to say is very important, and they should be heard. But once the article is moved and it's voted on, you have to take the vote. I know that some town meeting members would like to see us be able to talk and debate for hours, but we're not reinventing the wheel. When you get an article from the selectmen and it's in the warrant, that's what you talk about, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Willard, same question.
Town meeting members have a diverse set of opinions. The appropriate way to answer a question, to ask a question or to make a comment is to address the moderator rather than to address the person that may have made the prior comment. We don't always do that, but that's the proper way to do it. We have one town meeting member who never fails to address everything through the moderator. But in terms of keeping people in line, it really is a question of listening to the people who are speaking, whoever's speaking, and we have some members who routinely go off course. And I've never hesitated to interrupt them and call them back to the article or the motion that they were speaking to. And it's important because otherwise people could get up there and use it as a filibuster. We don't do that in town meeting. So it's a question of listening to people and then reeling them back in if they are straying.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, next question, Ms. Warren.
Okay. It seems that in recent town meetings there have been more resolutions than in prior years. And I wanted to ask both of your comments on that, whether it, perhaps that's, if you think that there, it is not more than usual, and to talk about that, or what you think is causing that to happen, and then also to talk a little bit about what a resolution is.
Okay, we'll begin with Sally Willard.
I agree with you that it appears that there have been more resolutions that have come before town meeting. In Burlington, we don't have a history of denying people their ability to present a resolution. We've had some that were tacked on at the end of the special town meeting. And I was tempted to disallow it, but we don't have that history, so I didn't. I thought that was the most appropriate way to handle it. We have resolutions because people want to make a statement, because in general it's a one committee or another, or it's some individual who feels that something is not being heard and they'd like a resolution. A resolution simply expresses the voice of town meeting. And if they feel that town meeting needs to express their voice on something, then that's when they'll bring forward a resolution. As long as we don't have any rules against resolutions that are not related to the warrant, then I allow them.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Clement.
I think that there's been more resolutions as the town has grown bigger. I've seen it increased in the past, probably just in the past 3 years. Tons of resolutions. And I find it's because people aren't getting the answers that they want. So they put through a resolution because now this way they can, bring it up to the whole body of town meeting, and that way they can be heard. because they didn't like the answer they got from the other boards or members or committees that gave them the answer. And I think that that's basically driven. I think that the selectmen in this town, the various boards in this town, with the open meeting law, people can be informed of everything that they want to know about. And there's no ins and outs, there's nothing hidden. And they can know all that. I think that the resolutions are coming from when people don't like the answer they're getting, and they're putting forward to have a resolution done. And until there are laws against it and bylaws or regulations, you're going to keep getting the people that want to get the answer they want.
Okay, thank you. Now we move into the next phase of the discussions. Each of you gets to ask the other candidate one question. And we will start with Ms. Clement.
Okay. Sally, what made you last year run for moderator?
I ran for moderator last year because I felt that the tone of town meeting was not conducive to a good debate. I was approached by several people who asked me to run. I considered it for a while and finally said, yes, I will, because I believe that town meeting should be a discussion that's civil. I don't believe that the moderator should tell people to shut up and sit down. And I think that the moderator has to have respect for the members. And I have respect for the members, I have respect for town meeting, and that was essentially why I ran. And I think I've done a very good job at it.
Okay, thank you. Now, Ms. Willard, you have one question of Ms. Clement.
Yes. Terry, at the last town meeting, I almost called you out of order for your outburst at the beginning of the meeting. Given that, what makes what about your temperament makes you well suited to be the moderator?
Well, first of all, Sally, I didn't have an outburst. I called a point of order, which is what town meeting is there for. And as a town meeting member, if I have a question to the moderator of a point of order, that's my right to be able to ask that. You want to call it an outburst? That's okay. I was actually reciting a bylaw that's very clear, was very clearly stated, and I was being told that I was wrong as I was reading the bylaw, and the moderator just kept looking at council because I offered to show you the bylaw. The bylaw was very clear. Town meeting runs the rules, okay? They run the rules of their body. The moderator only abides by Robert's rules and the bylaws and makes sure that everything stays in order. The town moderator does not govern the people. They govern the rules. And I don't think that that's an outburst. And as far as, you know, my temperament, Sally, I think is a little bit stronger than yours, and I could handle all the rules because you're not governing the people. It's not, you're impartial to the people. They can all speak as long as they're staying within the guidelines of the rules. And I think my temperament would be absolutely perfect as moderator because it's stronger than yours.
Okay, thank you very much. We now move into closing statements. We'll reverse the order from the beginning, so we'll begin with Terry. Terry.
Closing statement. As I said, I get involved in things in Burlington that I hold passionate. Town meeting, I find, is extremely passionate because I see the impact it has on the town daily from people. I see what the people are concerned with constantly. I see the impact of the financial statements that are made during town meeting. I really think that I could be able to control town meeting, guiding the laws as a good moderator, and I would ask you for your vote.
Thank you, and now Sally.
Thank you, Alan. Having been a moderator of BCAT debates for many years, I'd like to thank BCAT for holding this debate and Alan Folds for moderating today. I'm running for re-election as town moderator because we need an independent, fair, firm, and impartial moderator. In this race, I believe I'm uniquely suited to give all town meeting members their voice. I believe that town meeting members have been elected because they want to participate in local government. As moderator, my job is to conduct town meeting impartially, calling on members who want to speak to an article regardless of their point of view. If your representatives are not given an opportunity to be heard in a fair and impartial setting, then your voice is not heard. Speakers should be treated with respect and should not be made to feel intimidated. I am fair but firm and keep members focused on the agenda, the warrant. As moderator, I'm responsible for appointing members of the Ways and Means and Capital Budget Committees who review and recommend financial articles to town meeting, and the Bylaw Review and Land Use Committee who address general and zoning bylaw issues. I made appointments in a fair and impartial manner. I always treat people with respect and try not to voice negative opinions about anyone or raise divisive issues. My calm and respectful disposition fosters mutual respect, which is why I have excellent relationships with boards and town meeting members, including the support of more than 75 town meeting members. My proven and independent dedication to strong local government in Burlington benefits all residents. Please vote for me, Sally Willard, on Saturday, April 9th.
Well, we've reached the end of our discussions. In closing, I'd like to thank the candidates, Sally Willard and Terry Tarpey Clement, not only for sharing their vision with the people of Burlington, but also offering their time and service to the town. Thank you, Christine Herter-Warren of the Burlington Union and Rich Hosford of B News. And finally, thank you to Jen Dodge and the rest of the staff and volunteers here at BCAT. You've made this all happen. Remember, Election Day is Saturday, April 9th. The polls at the high school are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Here's your chance to have a direct say in how your town is governed, how your community operates. Make sure you take advantage of that right and that responsibility. And thank you for watching.